A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to Study IQ English. Welcome to the Hindu newspaper class with me. I am Saumya. Like each day, you and I shall be looking at the Hindu newspaper New Delhi edition. And we shall be analyzing UPSC relevant articles from here. So for today's class, I have selected about 7 articles for you. And we begin with the editorial page, which is page number 8. And today editorial is also very diverse, by the way. So we look at wetlands because we all know yesterday we had the World's Wetland Day, and I have also made a dedicated video on that. We proceed with talking about Tamil Nadu as a case study for industrial performance index as well as a role model to other states when it comes to a very high GDP and economic growth. We proceed with looking at the Finance Commission. Apart from that, certain other social issues, and then finally we travel to a place called Balochistan and analyze exactly what's happening in Balochistan. Why so much violence, and what's the future of this region? Does it impact India in some way? So before we proceed with these discussions, here's a quick look at the uh, you know one second. One second. Just give me a moment to fix this, okay? Yes. So before we look at all these news articles, here's the QR code on the front page of the slide. So in PDF, everybody can download the QR code, scan the QR code. Of course, the numbers of subscribers is rising. And therefore, we are also doing some very exciting initiatives through a daily practice question, sentence polishing. Soon I shall also encourage everybody to send me answers, essays. I want to reevaluate them, give you marks in case those who really want to learn essay writing or mains answer writing. So all those exciting initiatives we shall be doing. And then let us begin with the first article for the day from the editorial page. And before I do that, before I talk about the article on wetlands as national public good, let me quickly welcome in today's class all my dear aspirants. And let me welcome Terukula. Thank you for your kind words. And Shakti, Oman, Saraswati, Eric, AB, Madhav, Kritik, Iba, Prasad, Sitaram, Kaizen, Pranarithi, my dear Ramu, Kavish, Rishi is here today with us, Bulbul, Sagar, Abhilash, and many, many more code names. Okay, you're welcome. If this is your first class, we extend you a very hearty welcome. Very good morning, Rakshit. So let's look at the first article, Bache. This is editorial page, okay? Yes? All right. Let's see what the article says. We are talking about wetlands, and what are wetlands? Wetlands are areas that are either partially or completely submerged under water throughout the year, perennially, 12 months a year, or at least for a major part of the year. Are they important? Very important. Why are they so important? They play roles like carbon sequestration, they act like carbon sinks, they promote biodiversity, they recharge underground water, they provide livelihood to people nearby. They are also sources of fresh drinking water sometimes. So they have a very crucial role to play. But unfortunately, many wetlands have been overlooked traditionally. Many of them have been encroached upon. Many of them have become dumping and waste sites, at least in urban India. Yesterday we had the World's Wetland Day, and therefore it was a time to stop and think about what has Indian government been doing when it comes to propagating and promoting protection of wetlands. Yesterday there is another development that has taken place. India, which is a party to the Ramsar Wetland Convention of 1971. Yes, India, that is a party to Ramsar Wetland Convention 1971, yesterday announced two new wetland sites. One is the Patna Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, and where is it? It's in Uttar Pradesh. And the other happens to be a very interesting saline saltwater wetland, Charidhand, in an area of Kutch, Gujarat. Okay, you can have a look at the detailed video that I have made on that. I did it yesterday. Okay, so I have also focused on a very interesting phenomena of ghost lights that happens in this area called Bunny grasslands. Bunny grasslands are Asia's largest tropical grasslands, and they are located at the site of Charidhand wetland, which was declared yesterday. With these two new additions today, India has 98 wetlands. Very recently, we had 96 when we added Kopra Jalashay from Chhattisgarh and we added Silsar Lake from Alwar, Rajasthan. Yesterday, two more. Patna Sanctuary and Charidhand. Today, how many do we have? 98 wetlands total. So that is a wonderful development. This article is looking exactly into that. Article is saying, this year in 26, we celebrated the World Wetland Day from the theme of celebrating cultural heritage. That means, as Kritik is saying, wetland is not just about the ecological functions it plays. It doesn't only have an economic value. Yes, it promotes protection against flooding. Yes, it gives people livelihood. But at the same time, it also has a cultural relevance in India. Some very good examples could be Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, traditional tanks of water are known as kulams. And what do? They are used majorly for agriculture. If you look at Kerala, a place called Wayanad that was in the news because of the massive landslide in Kerala, that has kennies. Now, these kennies are shallow wells, and what do? They supply not just drinking water, they are used for many religious and cultural rituals as well. Then you have in Andhra Pradesh the word called Srikakulam. Srikakulam. And what happens in Srikakulam? In Srikakulam, people celebrate wetlands, and also there are many festivals and cultural practices celebrated with those, like fishing rituals. Many more kind of cultural celebrations are associated. So across India, India is a unique country, we know that. India is a polycultural country, we know. We also know India is one country where the underlying tone of society happens to be religion and culture. Yes, so therefore for India, wetlands are not only for economic and ecological importance, they are also for cultural importance. But unfortunately, if we do a reality check today, then we may not be happy to see the situation right now. The reality check is that wetlands in India are under threat right now. Why are they under threat? They are under threat because wetlands are today the most threatened, the most endangered ecosystems because they are situated between dry land, wet marshy land, and pure water bodies. So people usually believe that these are discarded areas. They are waste areas. Many of the wetlands are covered with marsh. Many of them are covered with invasive species like water hyacinth. So people believe these are wasted territories, but they are not wasted territories. They are very, very important ecosystems in themselves. Today, 40% of wetlands in India have been lost in the last 30 years. That's a very sad news. And nearly 50% of wetlands are already eroded. They are very, very degraded in India. This is the reality check that we must give to ourselves. This is GS Paper 3, Environment Ecology, Ecological Conservation. Wetland conservation is very important for India. Do remember, even Ramsar Convention is a binding treaty on all the parties who have joined Ramsar Convention. So therefore, we must protect our wetlands, and today 50% of the wetlands in India are already endangered. Can we do something to prevent that? There are some laws that protect the wetlands. For example, there is a law called Wetland Conservation and Management Rule 2017, in which the government says we must identify, we must notify, and we must control commercial activities in wetland. Then you have the NPCA, National Plan for Conservation of Aquatic Ecosystem, water-based ecosystem. What do we do here? We do a structural planning, monitoring to make sure that wetlands are protected. And then you have coastal regulation zone. Coastal regulation zone. What is coastal regulation zone? Now do remember, bache, coastal regulation zone refers to the coastal areas of India where regulated development is permitted. Very regulated and controlled infrastructure is permitted to promote the delicate, fragile coastal ecosystem. And where is it notified? It is notified in India under Environment Protection Act 1986. Yes? What is the purpose behind coastal regulation zones? The purpose is to protect coastal ecology. For example, mangrove. Now, the largest wetland in India is Sundarban. Sundarban is a mangrove. Then, if you look at Odisha, you will realize Bhitar Kanika. Again, it's a massive mangrove area in India. Yes? So, coastal regulation zones protect mangrove, they protect coral reef, they protect mud flats and lagoons in India. They only allow sustainable and controlled development within the coastal regions. And how do you identify a CRZ? Very good, Terukula. How do you identify a coastal regulation zone? Land up to 500 meters from high tide line on the sea coast becomes coastal regulation zone. Typically, it's the area between low tide line and the high tide line. Yes, tidal influenced water bodies like estuaries, creeks, and backwaters are included here. In 2019, the government released a CRZ notification under which we categorize all the coastal zones in India into 4 categories: 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes? Now, any other protocol to protect wetlands? Of course, Ramsar Convention. Ramsar Convention was signed in a northern city in Iran. In a northern city in Iran. Iran is in the news right now. 1979 Islamic Revolution to today, the biggest internal protest against Mr. Khamenei. Yes? We also spoke about Iran Bache as we were talking about the JCPOA agreement that Iran had signed with countries of the P5, permanent 5 members of UNSC, that Iran will not enrich its uranium. It will not make nuclear weapon. But what happened? President Trump left the JCPOA in between. Iran felt betrayed and angry, and therefore Iran continued with uranium enrichment. Yes? Good. So now Ramsar Convention comes from the same Iran, a city called Ramsar in northernmost territory of Iran. It was signed in 1971, officially implemented between 1972 and 1975. And what does it do? It recognizes wetlands of international importance. Today, India has 98 sites. Is India a part of Ramsar Convention? A very good question. When did India join the Ramsar Convention? Does any of my students know that? In yesterday's lecture, I have spoken about it. Which year did India sign the Ramsar Convention? Which year was that? Let me give you a hint. Very good, Terukula. It was 1982. And how do you remember 1982? You can remember 1982 by saying that UNCLOS is also from 1982, that talks about exclusive economic zone. Okay, so 1982, brilliant. India joined Ramsar Convention. So therefore, it's our duty to protect all the wetlands. And see, the government is indeed working on that. The first and the largest wetlands used to be Sundarban, Renuka Lake, Himachal. You had many more such ancient wetlands that India has been protecting since 1980s. But today we have shot up the number to 98, and that is a very big development. With 98 wetlands in India, Indian government is now responsible to protect wetlands with priority. However, there are still problems. And what are these problems? The problem is called poor coordination. Now, there is a very good word. You might have heard all these words in the newspaper. This is known as silos strategy or silos policy. What is silos policy? Silos policy means a policy where you deal with every problem separately. You do not have a connected cooperative solution. You deal with different problems in a different way. And that's a very problematic thing. So in India, when it comes to protecting wetlands, we have a very silos policy to that. Different departments are having different kind of laws to implement. That is leading to poor coordination, weak enforcement of all these laws that we have made, and fragmented governance. So we must avoid silos policy. We must therefore promote interdepartmental convergence when it comes to protecting wetlands, because 1971 Ramsar Convention, do remember bache, it is internationally binding. Yes, it is binding. All the countries who joined it, including India in 1982, are legally, formally obliged to promote wise use of wetland, to conserve and manage Ramsar sites, to cooperate internationally on shared wetlands and species. But Another very big question is coming up. Is Ramsar Convention strictly enforceable? Not really. Now that's a paradox again. Ramsar is Ramsar is legally binding, yes, but when you look at the local level, domestic level, then Ramsar does not impose any kind of legal penalty on countries that are violating its commitments. And that is why Ramsar is not having a major impact on national laws to protect wetlands. Implementation mostly depends on domestic legislation and the political will of the government, because in India, we still use the Wetland Conservation Rules 2017. That is what governs our wetlands. But what are the key challenges that wetlands are facing today? Why are they in so much problem, Bache? Why? Tell me why. Because wetlands are encroached. People are making roads, cities, and real estate projects on them. A very good question at this point. Why do you think cities like Bengaluru, Chennai, why do you think cities like Gurugram are often experiencing flooding during every monsoonal period from June to September? Earlier, a few years before, we never heard of urban flooding. Today, look at Punjab, look at Gurugram, look at Bengaluru, look at Chennai, look at Mumbai. All these places are hot spots of urban flooding. Now, why do you think it is happening? Naturally, because the wetlands have been encroached upon. Now, I told you wetlands are areas that are either permanently or for a major part of year covered with water, right? So if they are covered with water for a major part of the year, during monsoon months, the water revives back in these bodies. But what we have done, we have made construction on that. Now, as monsoon comes, naturally water will get revived. Where will the water go? There is no outlet. The water gets captured in the parking of buildings, in the roads, in the bylanes. Yes? Then what happens? Urban flooding results because of that. So naturally, it's absolutely, Eric, it is all because we are encroaching these wetlands. We are not understanding that pollution and eutrophication from sewage, industrial effluent and farm runoff water, solid waste have devastated our wetlands. Then we have the hydrological disruption. We are creating dams, embankments, mining is going on. Underground water is getting severely polluted. If that's polluted, then naturally, bache, your wetlands will also be polluted, right? The biodiversity, the animals and plants that survive there cannot survive. The fish that local people use from there, imagine the example of Goga Bee. People use it for fishing. But if the water becomes too contaminated, then tell me, what's the benefit of these wetlands to local people? Very good, Kritik. Native species like water hyacinth cover them up. Various kind of fungi grow on that. Another problem is that it leads to a complete reduction in the oxygen level of this water. Yes, there's a very good word I had taught you in one of my classes. When the oxygen level of a water body declines, why does it decline? Because all these microorganisms consume that up. They decompose that water totally. What do you call that word? It starts from B. It starts from B. Very good, Terukula. BOD. Absolutely. Very well answered. Yes, that is the real problem. Biological oxygen demand. Absolutely. That declines completely, the dissolved oxygen. And that is why this level increases too much. And now what happens? The water is becoming acidic. How will it support any kind of wildlife, or how will people use it for fishing? They cannot use it, I'm sorry. Very good. And now look at coastal wetlands. What is happening to coastal wetlands? Sea level is rising, water level is rising because of global warming. There is too much development pressure. Authorities that are meant to implement wetland conservation rules are understaffed. They do not have enough money. So what happens then? Wetlands are definitely degrading. On number, we have 98 wetlands, but bache, if with 98 wetlands we can't protect them properly, then what's the benefit? As Madhav says so well, whether it's BOD problem, biological oxygen demand, eutrophication, invasion of native species, contamination, toxification of the water, algae bloom, ultimately this water is getting dead. It's a dead water. Now, how will it benefit anyone? It won't benefit anyone. Tomorrow you will encroach it. And if you encroach it, it will further lead to urban flooding. Yes. So that's the vicious cycle we are caught in. Any solution to this? Yes, there is a solution provided we want to implement it with political will and public awareness. One, make public maps. Even the cities should have proper political physical maps. Hydrological maps should be publicized. Grievance addressal immediately needs to be done. Community participation in protecting wetlands. Wetlands cannot replace sewage treatment plant. Don't throw your waste in wetland. It is not a wastewater. Restore feeder channels, prevent blockages, regulate extraction, protect mangroves, mud plains, protect lagoons. These are nature legacies. They are not meant to commercialize. And please promote livelihood based on wetlands. How can technology play a role here? Of course, it can play a role here. We are talking about AI, drones, we are talking about satellite mapping. Please use satellite. Please use satellite mapping, use drones. Use drones for mapping all these areas of wetlands and then make those maps public. Make people understand that these are not meant to be encroached. Absolutely, Pranjal. Create a proper urban planning. A right urbanization is every bit about protecting wetlands too. Combine modern science with traditional wisdom and cultural rights of the people. So the governments must notify, enforce, and penalize those who are treating wetlands as waste. Industries should be fined if they try to pollute these wetlands. They are not decorative spaces, sorry. They are a part of the delicate ecosystem that you and I are living in. That's what this article says. I think it's quite a beautiful article. A quick question on that article. Yes? What's that article? What's that article? Consider the following statements regarding wetland conservation in India. 1. The Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2017 provide for identification, notification, regulation in wetlands, but their effectiveness largely depends on proper demarcation and enforcement. Second, Ramsar site. Designation for wetlands in India is only symbolic in nature. It's purely symbolic, only on paper. And it does not impose any management responsibility on the country. 3. Wetlands act as multi-use ecosystem, say supporting biodiversity, livelihood, water regulation, disaster risk management, but they are very vulnerable. Another good word for vulnerable, susceptible to encroachment and pollution. So answers are rolling in and there is so much uniformity in the answer today. No fractured, no split verdict. So Sadhna, Iba, Saurav, Kaizen, Eric, Madhav, Sitaram, my dear Terukula, Hari, Abhilash, King, Kritik, Bulbul, Pranjal, everyone is answering and they are quite confident, including Akshay, that A is the right answer. Yes, A is the right answer. Is that the right answer? Yes, indeed it's the right answer. There's no doubt here. Second statement is invalid. Why is it invalid? Because we can't say that in India Ramsar is purely symbolic. Say if it was symbolic, then what happens? Then we would never have increased the total number of wetlands to 98. We would never have passed Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2017. Of course, it's a legally binding convention and Indian government is taking responsibility. The problem is lack of political will and the problem is lack of community awareness. Too much corruption where private sector constructors are bribing the local authorities and conducting large-scale construction in these areas. Now that needs to be settled, okay? That needs to be settled. Okay. Okay. Now, second statement is almost about too much ethical issue as well. Some students who really feel upset about the fact that, yes, we cannot protect our wetlands enough would feel that, yeah, we are not doing anything. So second statement is valid, but that's not true. That's not completely true. The government is trying, but then of course the laws have to be more systematic. As I said, the silos approach is not going to work here. Making A the right answer. So majority is right. A big round of clap for everyone. And this is an editorial article, bache. It is an editorial article. It acts like a disaster risk reduction. Very well said. Now, why is it a disaster risk reduction? Because if you do not protect your wetlands, Urupam, then Tomorrow, urban flooding will become a recurrent phenomena. What happens during urban flooding? The low-lying areas of the city get submerged, not only to people living on the fringes of rivers, canals, they lose their life. It also leads to spread of disease as the water recedes. Case studies could be Punjab, Gurugram, and so many places that were flooded. It leads to a devastation of infrastructure, accidents. That's why it is a disaster. It is a disaster. And now that you need to protect wetlands, it is obviously related to disaster management as well. Yes. And if you talk about the mangrove, then mangroves are every bit related to disaster management. It is your mangroves that are protecting the sea coast against high tide and flooding, coastal erosion. So if you do not protect them, you are exposing your coastal regions to massive flooding and wave invasion. Okay? Yes? It is a toothless tiger. There is no doubt about that. That's the problem of culture lag. That's a problem of culture lag. Mostly all the laws are on paper. In reality, there is no law. You might argue that the 2012 POCSO Act is also suffering from culture lag. In fact, if you would have studied, when you will study Indian society more properly from GS1, or those who will study sociology, will be very confident about the fact that all the economic, all the political, and all the social problems that we are victims of today are all product of culture lag. It's easy to make a law on paper. It's very difficult to change people's mindset to obey those laws. And that's why I say it's always a problem of culture lag. But we can't say that the government has no duty. It has. It probably is doing that. Now, culture lag is also about the problem of people. We can't only blame the government here. Okay? Yes, policy paralysis, you can call it. Very well done. Very nice. I feel so happy when I see these intellectual discussions and questions coming up. Keep this inquisitive spirit on. It is this attitude that really succeeds, gives you success in the UPSC. Never be a passive learner, bache. You may look argumentative. You may look that it may seem that you are asking too many things or you're thinking too much, but that's a very good idea. Have that perspective. That's very good. I'm so happy. Okay. So, second article, editorial again. We are looking at a case study from Tamil Nadu. A hat trip to Tamil Nadu's industrial strength reform. This article is celebrating and the article is appreciating the performance of Tamil Nadu. Let's see what this article says. Yes? The article is talking quickly about the economic survey. Article is talking about the economic survey 2025 to 2026. And what does it say? Yes, Shlok Madhav, Terukula Eric, Kritik, what does it say? This article is saying that the economic survey highlights India's strong macroeconomic fundamental at a time when the world is facing uncertainty. Okay, before I forget, there was a student who was mentioning about United Kingdom. It has the highest number of wetlands, say about 173. Who was that? Kritik was that. Thank you, Kritik, for that beautiful information. Sorry, I skipped that comment. Wonderful. Coming back. Economic survey says Tamil Nadu is one state which has been a top performing state when it comes to either manufacturing sector or the GDP output or industrialization or employment generation. It has really done very well. At the same time, it has also been able to manage the right balance between infrastructural development and environmental consciousness. So that's what this article is saying, that Tamil Nadu's growth has been wonderful. Whether it's industry, whether it's export, whether it's employment or urbanization. So let's look at this article and quickly let's break it down. Article is saying that India is the fastest growing economy. India has already overtaken Japan to become the fourth largest economy. Now India is only after Germany. Germany itself, the largest economy of European Union. Now that India is the fourth largest economy with a very moderate level of inflation and quite a high predicted economic growth of say about 7%. India happens to be the fastest growing large economy. Now, even within India, if you look at the state of Tamil Nadu, then Tamil Nadu has been a top performing state. The fastest growing state in India with 11.19%. 11.19% of real growth in 24 and 25. Tamil Nadu is the second largest state economy in India and a major contributor to entire national growth. Why is Tamil Nadu such a developing and such a growth-oriented state? Because Tamil Nadu has got its advantage from at least 4 things, and that is what we are going to look into. The major driver of growth in Tamil Nadu happens to be the secondary sector. Secondary sector, we all know every economy has 3 sectors: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Tertiary is service sector, secondary would be the manufacturing sector. Yes, so Tamil Nadu has taken advantage of its secondary sector, industrial and manufacturing sector. In Tamil Nadu, industrial and manufacturing sector have grown at a rate to 13.43%. And here, manufacturing plays a very important role. Why? Because manufacturing sector in Tamil Nadu has seen a growth of about 14.74%, which is 3 times all India average. Yes, which is 3 times all India average. Should you remember all these data points? No. But you must remember what Ramu has said right now. What did he say? 11.9% economic growth, fastest growing state economy in India. Remember these 2 points. Why? You can use this as a case study in your answers. That's it. No need to remember all the data, but remember the core points. Manufacturing is a strong area in Tamil Nadu. The output is 3 times more than all India average. Highest 4-year average manufacturing growth has happened in Tamil Nadu as compared to many other states. So relative economic growth, very high. Inflation. In Tamil Nadu, we can safely say that inflation, consumer price index declined to 2.45%, very moderate. Look at Tamil Nadu's export and industrial strength. If you look at the goods, merchandise export of Tamil Nadu, it has doubled from 26 billion to 52 billion in 2025. Great. If you look at manufacturing and employment, in Tamil Nadu, looking at manufacturing and employment, Tamil Nadu as the second largest state economy in India, contributes to 15% of India's manufacturing sector jobs, highest among the states. 2 days before, we were complaining to each other about how in India, manufacturing sector has not been able to generate enough employment growth. Employment growth comes from service sector, but service sector cannot absorb the blue collar employees in India, the semi-skilled employees in India. So employment has not grown. Tamil Nadu has defied that model. Tamil Nadu, through its manufacturing sector alone, is contributing to 15% of all India manufacturing jobs. That deserves a mention, a data that I would request my dear students to remember, to keep in their mind. If you look at manufacturing sector in general, why is Tamil Nadu so successful in manufacturing sector? All my students are giving me the points here. They are so erudite, touchwood. They are giving me all the points. Why? Now, Tamil Nadu has an advantage of automobile and auto components. Tamil Nadu has advantage of cement sector. Majority of them concentrated in Tamil Nadu. Well done, Shakti. Tamil Nadu has reserves like thorium reserves. Brilliant. Who said that? Shlok said that. Tamil Nadu has a strong electronic manufacturing sector. Medical devices park, 100 crore potential is there. 85% cement sector concentration is there. Then what? Naturally, Tamil Nadu has been able to use all these assets wonderfully and contributes to 15% of manufacturing sector jobs in India. You know the reason now. Skilled manpower, large scale units, infrastructure, ability to use its resources, good literacy rate, and at the same time, good ease of doing business as well. If you look at ease of doing business, it is easy to start entrepreneurship. It's much easier to have a startup in Tamil Nadu because of single window clearance. You don't have to run pillar to post, government department to get your papers and licenses approved. All the approvals are digitized. Land reforms are already in place, and therefore we are seeing solar parks, decarbonization plans, energy efficiency, all that have been balancing growth with renewable sector. So that is again a great feather in the cap for Tamil Nadu. If you look at climate and energy, in Tamil Nadu we have a very active board called as Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board. Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board. Now this has been able to very strongly support effluent monitoring. How much industrial discharge is happening is monitored properly. You have adequate fines that are imposed on people which act as a deterrent. And at the same time, of course, rare earth development is possible. Today, India is exploring the possibility of thorium salt water reactor. Tamil Nadu will play a key role because of the large thorium reserves. Needless to say, Tamil Nadu is a coastal state. Yes, Tamil Nadu is a coastal state. It has a major potential for marine development and blue economy. If you look at Tamil Nadu's coastal area, you must remember about 1 month before, you and I had spoken about National Green Hydrogen Hubs. Yes, Shakti, National Green Hydrogen Hubs. Yes, National Green Hydrogen Hub. What do you mean by a green hydrogen hub? A green hydrogen hub is a region where green hydrogen is produced by using renewable energy. And how is that produced? I have spoken to you about it. You take water. What is water? Water is H2O. You pass electrolysis through water, current through water. Where does the current come from? Current is coming from clean energy like solar or hydro. Or wind. Once you pass this current, the water molecule segregates into hydrogen and oxygen. Now the oxygen that you have received is called green oxygen because it has no carbon impact. It's very clean. Tomorrow it will again be reacted with some other element and it will also lead to the production of green ammonia. CH, green ammonia. Some reaction will be done through methane and ultimately we will also get green ammonia. So you see, Tamil Nadu is a great cluster of green hydrogen. Why is green hydrogen important? If you are able to store, transport and export green hydrogen, then not only can you earn massive income through that, but also green hydrogen will be used in industry, transport and power. It's a renewable energy. So you also achieve your nationally determined contribution. Very recently in India, we created 3 green hydrogen hubs. One was in Tamil Nadu, and which one is that? It is known as the V.O. Chidambaram Port. V.O. Chidambaram Port. This is one green hydrogen hub in Tamil Nadu. Which were the other 2, bache? One was Paradeep and the other was Deen Dayal in Gujarat. So remember the 3 hydrogen hubs, but one was in Tamil Nadu. Now, such green hydrogen hubs that Tamil Nadu is now creating will integrate ports, industries and renewable energy sources together. Yes. Now, if these are created, then the government is planning 2 more green hydrogen hubs in Tamil Nadu. Okay, 2 more will come up very soon if the project is successful. At the same time, since Tamil Nadu has a great coastal area, like say for example, it covers about 1076 coastline across 14 districts. So that's Tamil Nadu's coastal potential. 14 districts are covered under coastline of about 1076 kilometers. That means Tamil Nadu has a great role to play when it comes to blue economy. Government is focusing on biodiversity, coastal protection, livelihood creation, pollution control. We are already experimenting with model villages like climate resilient villages where panchayat institutions are playing a great role. If you look at agriculture, horticulture, Tamil Nadu with states like Karnataka, with states like Telangana and Maharashtra contributes to 40% of India's services output. Some of the student was saying, what about services sector? So yes, Tamil Nadu along with states like Karnataka, Telangana contributes to 40% of total service output in India. That is wonderful. Strong performance in groundnut production, banana cultivation, urban development. Look at Chennai, among world's largest urban agglomerates, known for disciplined civic behavior. Metropolitan area parking policy was implemented. It is today celebrated as the world's best practice when it comes to managing good city infrastructure. Tamil Nadu ranks first in civic behavior as well. Liberalized building bylaws, simplified development norms, public awareness plays a key role here. What about education? 17 institutions in Tamil Nadu have got their rank in NIRF 2025 top 100 institutions, highest among any state in India. How can we conclude this case study on Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu is a role model. Tamil Nadu is a role model of economic growth, climate resilience, blue economy, green hydrogen, contribution to manufacturing sector employment 15%, contribution to service sector 40%, environmental sustainability as well. So yes, we can learn good lessons from here. A quick question if you've learned the lesson. Consider the following statements regarding Tamil Nadu highlighted in the economic survey. 1. Tamil Nadu recorded the fastest growth among the states in India in 24-25, largely driven by strong performance of secondary industrial sector, especially manufacturing. Second, Tamil Nadu contributes highest share of manufacturing employment in India, supported by diversified industrial bases and investor-friendly norms. And 3, Tamil Nadu is the only state in India designated as a green hydrogen hub under the National Green Hydrogen Mission. A very easy question for you. I don't know about other people, but for my students, it's very easy. Needless to say, it should be correct. Priyanshu has joined. I saw him now. Reshma is here today. Welcome, Reshma. I'm seeing you after ages, bache. If that's you. Okay. So, Kritik, Shlok, Reshma, Priyanshu, Shakti, Madhav, Elvin, Saurav, Sadhna, Eric, Cloud, Akshay, Rajnishwar are saying the answer is C. And Reshma is elaborating. She used to do that earlier also. Yes? So she says that C, third cannot be correct. Third cannot be correct because it's not just the VO Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu. We have 2 more green hydrogen hubs. One is the Paradeep in Odisha. And where's the other one? The other one is Gujarat, Deen Dayal Port. So naturally 1 and 2 are right. Making C the right answer. So should I clap for you? Of course, I should stand and clap for you. Very good. Kavish, Anoop, Abhilash, codenamed Chip, Naveen, AB, very, very good. Yes, absolutely. Not only is it true, but it also contributes highest to employment. Welcome, Reshma. That's totally fine, Bache. I'm so happy to meet you. Kojumba has not been coming for the last few days either. So I do realize when 1 or 2 days, even if one student is not there, it's always at the back of my mind. Okay. So hope all is well with you. Very good. Thank you for explaining to Urapam Madhav. That's very kind of you. And yes, Eric, that's totally correct. Now, at the same time, northeastern states also have major reserves. It's all about development and public awareness. Yes? Okay. Now, quickly, the third article for the day. Is that an editorial? Yes, it's also a short editorial. But this is a technical editorial, so please focus properly. This is GS Paper 3. Why GS Paper 3? Because we are looking at Finance Commission. We are looking at Finance Commission. Which article of the Constitution are we talking about? Today I will answer faster than Ramu, Terukula, Reshma and many other students. It is Article 280. And which article of the Constitution deals with financial devolution? The share of taxes that central government gives to the state governments, and that happens to be 281. Okay, so we are looking at both these articles, Indian economy. No problem. My blessings to you, Priyanshu, for your exams. I hope I see you after your exam. Okay, so very well done, Shakti. Indeed. And Iba says Article 112. Yes, because she's talking about the annual financial statement. That's the budget. Although yesterday we discussed, Ramu was also telling us that our constitution doesn't use the word budget, but we say annual financial statement, Article 112. 280 is Finance Commission. Thank you so much for explaining, Ramu. He has summarized the issue so well. And 281 is the devolution. Now let us understand. Ramu has already given a perfect explanation. We can definitely refer to that. Let's break down the article. But we all know that recently, the 16th Finance Commission has given its recommendations for the period of 2026 to 2031. So for a period of 5 years, Finance Commission under Article 280 has given its recommendations now. What is the problem then? The main problem is fiscal federalism. What do you mean by fiscal? Fiscal is financial. What do you mean by federalism? Federalism means the division of power or the division of resources between center and the states. India is a federal country, quasi-federal country. If somebody says, prove India is quasi-federal, just take them to Schedule 7 of the Constitution. They will understand why are we quasi-federal. Very good, Terukula. Under Mr. Arvind Pangaria, yes, we have the 16th Financial Commission. The core problem again is whether this financial commission is also doing a fair, transparent sharing of financial powers between center and the states. So let's come to the main agenda. Finance Commission is the body that decides how much tax share should be distributed from center to the 28 states in India, right? But there is always a problem here because there are two ways this money is given. One is the vertical devolution. From the center, the money comes to the state, top to bottom. So, vertical devolution. Another is called horizontal devolution, where now it is decided how much share will every state get. How do we decide which gets more, which gets less? On what criteria? On what basis? Traditionally, one of the most important criteria used to be size of the state, population of the state, and the level of backwardness, economic backwardness of that state. But many southern Indian states, we saw the success example of Tamil Nadu. Many states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka have historically complained that in India, the Central Finance Commission is always giving more money, more funds to states that have poverty, to states that have more population, to states that are backward financially. Is that not unfair on us? Is it our mistake that we have been able to regulate population growth? That we have been able to control total fertility rate to much below replacement level fertility 2.1? Is it our mistake that our GDP is higher? Is it our mistake that we contribute a higher share of tax to India's entire tax fund? Why are we then getting penalized for that? Should we not support efficiency when it comes to giving money? Should it not be on the basis of performance reward? Or should it continue to be a criteria where the more backward you are, the more money you get? That's the complaint these states throughout had, and therefore, all the states in India had told the central government that until 15th Finance Commission, you used to give us 41% share in the divisible pool of taxes. Out of your total income, the central government was only giving 41% to states. So all these people demanded that, listen, please, now we should get 50%. We are not getting enough money. Sorry. Give us 50%. But what happened? What happened? 16th Finance Commission has come, and 16th Finance Commission has clearly said that you are right. We know you are struggling. We know because of lack of money, you are having to borrow money from the market and take loan. We know you are suffering. But sorry, we can't increase your share in the divisible pool. So the divisible pool share, despite all the sympathy and kind words, continues to be stuck at 41% once again in the 16th Finance Commission. That is the entire agenda behind that. Yes, that is very true, Ramu, because India holds on to the principle of social justice, socialistic democracy that we signed up in 1944 via the Bombay Plan through INC. Correct. But when some states feel deprived of money because they are efficient, then it also gives a negative signal that no matter how much achievement you do, money will only go to those who are needy. It will never go as a reward to those who are experiencing success. Yes. So that's the paradox here, bache. That is why it's a very tough call. It's not easy. It's not easy to run the model of cooperative federalism. And your question is so valid, you know. Your question is such a valid paradox that the government is also facing, by the way. So now let's see what is the main controversy. 16th Finance Commission has come. 16th Finance Commission, despite showing sympathy to the states, has not increased the share of divisible pool. It continues to be 41%. Yes, so the states will only get 41% out of the total divisible pool of the center taxes. What are divisible pool? The amount of money, the amount of tax revenue of the center that can be shared with the states. What were the states demanding, bache? 50%. They said we want 50%, we are poor. Now what happens? Finance Commission 16 said, we understand that ever since in 2017, goods and services tax have come, states have experienced a loss of revenue. Why? Because now they have lost control over so many indirect taxes. All of them have been replaced by centralized tax GST. Naturally, they lost their income. Until 2022, the central government kept on giving all the states GST compensation. After 2022, that has also stopped. It has stopped now. Central government says now it has been so many years since GST was passed. Guys, be mature. You must mature up and manage your own revenues. You can't depend too much on center's compensation. We can't do that. Today, states are feeling bad about it. They are saying we are having financial crunch. One, you don't increase the divisible pool of our share. Second, you keep on, as Shakti is saying, arbitrarily in between, adding cesses and surcharges in the name of education, sanitation, or public health. Who gets the money from surcharge and all these additional cesses? Central government. Again, cesses and surcharges are not in divisible pool. They cannot be shared with states. So states are feeling cheated right now. And Finance Commission is saying, listen, we understand that you are in a problem. We understand that your expenditures are too much. And because of that, sometimes states are depending on loan. But we cannot increase. We cannot increase. Sorry, we cannot increase. We can only improve the horizontal devolution criteria. For example, now we will do a change and now we will start rewarding the states which have seen success. GDP, population control, high industrial output. We will change that. We will reward certain states, but we will not make any drastic change. Because if we make a drastic change, then poor states will keep on suffering. And that is not something we can do. Sorry, we can't do that. So we have all sympathy with you, but the share of divisible pool is not going to increase. That is one thing that Finance Commission has made it very clear. That is why some southern states are still unhappy with this recommendation. They had high hopes from this Finance Commission. Looks like these hopes will not come through easily. Now, what about horizontal devolution? I told you vertical devolution is the money that comes from center to states. What about horizontal, bache? Horizontal is when it is decided how to share the money between states now. How to decide UP gets more or Rajasthan gets more? Tamil Nadu gets more or Bihar gets more? How will we decide? This is horizontal distribution. Okay. Now, in case of horizontal distribution, this Finance Commission has done some changes which are good. For example, for the first time, the Finance Commission has changed a criteria called tax effort criteria, and now it has been replaced by a criteria called contribution to GDP. You can call this SGDP, State Goods and States Gross Domestic Product. That criteria has changed. What do you mean by this criteria? You might ask, you should ask. Then what is the earlier tax criteria? Tax criteria meant tax effort measured how efficiently a state was able to raise its own tax revenue given its own capacity. States that collected more taxes, that means they are complying more to the rules, were given more money. And states that were not able to collect enough revenue from tax were not getting enough money. Yes, in the 15th Finance Commission, this criteria, the tax collection criteria, tax effort criteria, was given a weightage to 2.5%. 2.5%. Today, what is happening? The government says that this is a very limited criteria. Under GST, states have completely lost control over majority of indirect taxes. High tax collection sometimes is not about better administration. It is also about the paying capacity of your people. It's also about the size of your territory. It's also about higher income level and industrialization. Narrow tax base. It is very unfair to say a state which can collect more revenue tax is a more successful state. No, it's not a good thing. That's why today we are changing this criteria. From this criteria, we are moving to another criteria which is more inclusive. And this is the criteria of contribution to GDP. So what is this new criteria? What is this new criteria, bache? Contribution to GDP. Under this criteria, we will now measure how much a state is contributing to India's total GDP, gross domestic product. This criteria of GDP contribution has increased weightage from 2.5% in the 15th Finance Commission to 2% in Finance Commission 16th. Why? We want to reward productivity today, efficiency today, well-governed states today. States which have a higher financial outcome and a higher GDP will definitely be rewarded. But the central government says this change will be slow. It's not going to be abrupt. It will not be abrupt. Many South Indian states who are more successful in terms of GDP and industrial output say that why do you need a slow change? Enough injustice has been done to us. We never got money relative to our development. So please quicken the pace of this. But Finance Commission denies. Finance Commission says what Ramu just said. We are committed to distributive justice in India. Our preamble says sovereign socialistic democratic republic. So therefore, we will not do an abrupt change. We prefer a gradual reform to avoid sudden shock to the poor states who have traditionally been dependent on center transfer. Then demographic performance weight is also reduced today. Punishing population growth is not relevant in India anymore. Earlier, we used to think states which still have a very high fertility rate will get punishment, and states who have reduced their fertility rate must get rewarded. But now it is becoming irrelevant. Why is it becoming irrelevant, Bache? Because already India's total fertility rate on an average has declined below 2.0. It is touching 1.9. At a time when our fertility rate is already falling, what is the use of rewarding states which have controlled their fertility rate? We may face the risk of becoming like China or South Korea, where fertility rate has become so low that there is hardly any birth rate to compete with the death rate. With hardly children being born, not only is society becoming old and grey, but also these countries are facing labor crisis, labor shortages. Don't you remember how Russia in the 23rd annual summit demanded 5 lakh semi-skilled workers from India? Don't you remember how under the FTA, or which Eric said was a PTA with New Zealand, we have promised more than 1 lakh highly skilled labor to New Zealand? Why? All these countries are not having labor force at all. India has demographic dividend. So we can't punish states for having high fertility. Sorry, that will not be fair now. That's again one thing. So at the same time, how will this impact industrialized states? States like Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, therefore, are gaining a very small increase in their share. No drastic, no sudden change has come. Very slow change has come. Reforms are improving equality by adding GDP as a criteria of horizontal devolution. You are doing some justice, but it will not be a sudden justice. It will take time. There are many missed opportunities already. For example, Finance Commission 16 could have signaled much stronger federalism. Critics are saying, if you could not give 50%, at least you could have increased divisible pool up to 45%. At least that much you could have done. The states would have felt happy. The states would have felt that they are being listened to. But that did not happen. The commission says shrinking divisible pool is looking like that only because of cess and surcharges. Sorry, right now we can't change it. We have sympathy for you, but no change as such. And transfers will continue to be determined from the center. For example, it is the center who will decide how much will it give on welfare schemes to all the states. Now that is also a key area where states will continue to be dependent on the center. Yes. Now, overall, if you analyze this article, then you realize that Finance Commission 16 recognizes the financial stress of the states. It has introduced a limited reform, but it has not done any deep structural change to fix the problem of these states. So what is happening? All these Deccan Indian states are continuing to complain, not much transparency, not much justice has been done to them. That's the article. Is it clear? All the concepts are clear. Vertical devolution, horizontal devolution, divisible pool, cess and surcharge, criterias, I hope it's clear. Today I'm making one current affairs video on the same thing. Consider the following statements regarding recommendations of 16th Finance Commission. 1. The Commission retained states' share in divisible pool of central tax at 41%, even while recognizing financial constraints faced by states after GST. 2. The increase in weight assigned to contribution to GDP in horizontal devolution was accompanied by a clear, explicit is clear, recommendation to rapidly restructure interstate shares to significantly favor industrialized states. And three, the Commission acknowledged that cess and surcharge reduce the effective divisible pool but did not recommend bringing them within the pool of shareable tax. Oops, split verdict. We are repeating the same pattern. Justice Nagaratna versus Justice Vishwanathan. Anti-corruption. Split verdict. Answers are like A, B, D. A, B, D. It is happening, Akshay, because central government one feels that it's high time states should increase on their own effort their share of revenue taxation. They cannot completely depend on center. Center also feels states are mismanaging funds. It's not like they don't have money, they aren't able to manage that money. And second reason is that center is feeling that already India has been experiencing a financial crunch owing to the tariff policy, owing to the capex or the capital outflows. So therefore, it is a very critical time when even the budget has come out. You see, India is grappling with new realities, trade deficit, depreciation of currency. So in that situation, the central government probably does not want to dispense too much with its own financial resources. So these could be the two reasons. What's the right answer? Is first statement correct? Absolutely correct. The new finance commission has also kept it at 41%. No increase, because it says, yes, I have sympathy with states, but I'm not increasing. Second is correct? Absolutely not. Not correct. Why is it not correct? First part is correct, second is not. The increase in weight, definitely there is an increase in the weightage of GDP contribution and horizontal devolution. But does that come with a quick, extreme, rapid restructuring of share of states, which is in a very big way favoring industrialized states? No. We just discussed in this article. I also told you preamble. India is a sovereign socialist, sovereign secular socialist democratic republic. Socialistic democracy. Bombay Plan 1944. Suddenly we are not favoring South Indian industrial states. We are saying it's a gradual phase down. Finance Commission is saying we are going to take it slowly. Not correct. Third is correct. Totally correct. Government understands that with surcharge and cess being increased, it is looking like our divisible pool is becoming less. But actually it is not becoming less. It is quite the same like previous time. Correct. So that means which should be the right answer? B should be the right answer. B should be the right answer. Very good, Reshma. Absolutely slow. Wonderful, Ram. Significantly. Totally. Clear? Great. Okay, no problem. It was a well attempted question, tough question, tricky question. Now, quickly, let's proceed with the, article that's on the next page. Now, this comes from the text page, okay? This is a text page article. And what are we talking about? So, we are looking at why are tribals protesting in Maharashtra? So, in very short time, let's quickly summarize the article. And Bacha, if I was to ask you that, my dear, which UPSC syllabus does it tally with? It tallies with GS paper 2, vulnerable communities. We are looking at tribal population, scheduled tribe population, forest dwelling communities. Yes, it is not included, bache. Yes, very good, Shlok. Which is the largest scheduled tribe group in India? Largest tribal group in India, Bhil, followed by Santals. Highest PVTG, which state? Odisha. Which commission? Vikash is not there, he would have immediately said. Dhibar Commission. We have spoken about these things. Yes, so come back to the tribal domain now. What is going on? In January, many tribal farmers in Maharashtra from places like Nashik and Palghar, they protested. They were protesting in front of the government and police forces. They were doing long marches. And who organized all these protests? It was organized by All India Kisan Sabha and the left-wing party in India, Communist Party of India, Marxist, CPI. Why are the protests going on? Protest is going on to force the government to solve pending cases of tribal rights and livelihood. When you look at the Palghar March happened after local people said our demands are not getting accepted completely. Only partially our demands have been fulfilled. But what are the demands? What are the demands? There are three demands. These tribals in Maharashtra are demanding land rights. They are saying we want a proper implementation of FRA, Forest Right Act 2006. Those people, those of my dear students who are new to the platform, what is Forest Right Act 2006? Forest Right Act 2006 is also called, officially it is called as Scheduled Tribe and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers. Recognition of Forest Right Act 2006. It is a social justice law in India. What is the aim? To recognize and to give forest rights, livelihood and living rights, residential rights to scheduled tribe and other traditional forest dwelling communities who have been historically denied their right to forest resources. If they are living in this area near the forest for generations, they cannot be removed from here. No matter if it's for a wildlife sanctuary or a dam or a national park, they need to be given some right. The same issue today you can highlight as a case study that's happening in the Great Nicobar Island, where tribals like Nicobari and Shompenis are complaining. They are complaining that we have been denied our Forest Right Act completely. Yes, forest land cultivated through generations has to be registered in the name of forest dwellers individually, not community individually. It is their legal right that is provided by the Forest Right Act. What is the current controversy? Tribals are saying we are not given any rights under Forest Right Act. No proper implementation. We have been living and growing crops on this area for generations, but today, when the legal deed is made, the land title is not given in individual name. That means neither can we take a loan from the bank and tomorrow anybody can come and remove us from here. What is what is the main problem here? The main problem is they do not have a legal right on land. Second demand of these people, why are they protesting? Irrigation. They are saying that construction of small dams and cross linking of river projects is very important in our areas. We must divert the water of west flowing rivers to east flowing regions because there is water scarcity here. There is a water scarcity here. What is the aim? To enable crop growth. They say, why are we given minimum support price? Very good, Shakti. Why are we given minimum support price only to grow rice, paddy? Why can't we be given minimum support price to diversify our crop production like pulses, onion, strawberry, corn, bajra, millets, mango? That is very important. If you do not diversify your MSP, then not only will farmer income decline, environment will also get polluted. How? I have told you multiple times what happened after Green Revolution, bache. Monocropping started. Government started giving MSP only on rice and wheat. Things like fruit, vegetable, millet, pulses were never given MSP. What is MSP? I hope everybody knows. Minimum support price. The price at which the government purchases a fixed amount of crop from the farmers directly. A price that is usually set above the market price so that farmers never face a loss. But they are only given for few products. Today, if you do not give MSP on pulses, proteins, millets, land will get degraded. Land cannot tolerate monocropping, one type throughout the year. Soil fertility goes for a toss. Food security will go for a toss. People will become diabetic and they will start getting cardiac problems because then you only eat rice and wheat. These are sources of carbohydrates. You don't diversify your land into pulse. That's a key source of protein. These are the problems here. So that's what these tribals are saying. Give us minimum support price on other products also. Third, they want employment education. They are saying till now, our gram panchayats have not been given any PISA Act implementation. What is PISA Act? Panchayat extension to Gram Panchayat right extension to forest communities. All the tribal communities, tribal groups, tribal associations, tax, fifth schedule, they should be given rights like Panchayat. Yes, 1996 PISA, the same rights that Gram Panchayats have should also be given to tax, tribal autonomous administrative communities under 5th schedule. That has not been given. But they need them. They are saying teachers are not there in the local schools. They are vacant. Better education is not there. 24-hour electricity supply is what we need. If you remember, last year I had done a case study with all of you. Birhor tribe in Jharkhand is the tribe in India. It's a PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal group. It got electricity for the first time after 70 years of independence. Can you imagine? So that's what these tribals are saying. Give us better education, more teachers in our local schools, and better electricity. These are the concerns. They are saying, please implement FRA and please implement PISA. Otherwise, there is no point. Even if they are saying, even if we are asking for a land to be transferred to us, it is denied. Allotment of much smaller land is given in return, but we are cultivating much more. Digital errors are happening. State government has accepted that. State government has accepted that 45% of FRA claims, Forest Right Act claims, have been rejected. Out of the total claims filed, total claims were 4 lakh. How many were, rejected? 1.72 lakhs were rejected. State government says, we are trying, but maybe it is happening because of digital error. Maybe it is happening because of exclusion, lack of proper paperwork. But what's the larger debate here? The larger debate here is that a very famous ecologist, Mr. Madhav Gadgil, says a long-standing tension between traditional forest conservation and Forest Right Act approach, which integrates forest dwellers into conservation. If you continue to have a toxic relationship between the rights of people who live in the forest and forest conservation, then no solution can come. So what is the right solution here? The right solution could be a change of mindset. Not evicting or removing tribals from the forest, giving them the right, giving them the responsibility of protecting and safeguarding these forests. Is that clear? Difference between TAC and ADC, let me summarize. There are 2 schedules in the constitution, 5th and 6th. 6th schedule is only applicable to 4 selected states. Which are these states? AMTM states. Multiple times I have given the mnemonic. AMTM states. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya. Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya and AMTM states. Which are the 4 states? Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya. Yes, you all knew about it. What are AMTM states? Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya. Which is the missing? Very good. Mizoram. Now, these are the 6 schedule states. Only in these 6 schedule, we implement a policy called ADC, Autonomous Tribal Council. ADC has much more power. Very good. ADC has much more power when it comes to internal autonomy in administration. But for all the other states which have a high amount of tribal population, they come under 5th schedule. 5th schedule does not give that much autonomy. It gives the provision of TAC, Tribal Administrative Council, where the local people will have a say in administration, but they are not as autonomous as ADC. ADC is selected 4 states. The remaining tribal dominated states come under the 5th schedule. Okay, so be very clear about that. So here we were looking at a 5th schedule crisis. Okay, let's do the last question for the day. Very good, Shlo. Good example. Excellent. Very good, Abhilash Terukula. Now consider the following statements regarding the recent tribal march and protest in Maharashtra. 1. The main demand for protecting tribal farmers was the effective implementation of FRA, including recognition of individual land claim over forest land cultivated areas for generations. 2nd, under Panchayat extension to scheduled area PISA 1996, tribal communities are empowered with self-governance in scheduled areas and provisions exist for recruitment at local level. 3. As per recent data, Maharashtra has approved all Forest Right Act claims filed so far with no significant rejection of individual claim. Very good, Apex. You're talking about all the SDGs which get impacted. Wonderful. 1, 10, 15. Absolutely great. So which is the right answer? Reshma is giving a good clarification as well, like what she always does. So answers are coming from Reshma, Elvin, Madhav, King, Shlok, Rajneshwar. But it's a fractured verdict again. It's a broken verdict. Some say B, some say A. Again, the same situation of split verdict. So ideally, who should solve this problem of split verdict? According to Justice Vishwanathan, Lokpal should solve. But can Lokpal solve this problem? Some more micro problems, so let me solve. One, the primary demand of protecting forest for protecting tribal farmers was the effective implementation of FRA, correct? That's what they are asking for. They are saying we are living in this area for generations, so please don't remove us. With one being correct, C cannot be the answer for sure. Now, second, you need Lokpal. Okay, for such a small issue, it may not be there, no. Second one, under PESA 1996, tribal communities are empowered with self-governance in scheduled areas and provisions exist for recruitment at local level. 3. As per recent data, Maharashtra has approved all Forest Rights Act. No, we just saw, Reshma is clarifying. 40% claims are rejected already. They are not ready to accept all the claims. 3 is also not correct. So if 3 is also not correct, then between A and B, it's a valid confusion. Valid confusion. Then what about the second one? What does PISA say? Does PISA say tribal communities are empowered with self-governance in scheduled areas and provisions exist for recruitment at local level? Yes or no, no or yes? Yes or no, no or yes? Find out the answer. Intellectual dishonesty, yes, Shlok? Find out the answer, let me know tomorrow. If we answer it right now, in 2 days you will forget. If we keep this on and the first thing in the morning we do tomorrow is answer, or if I place the answer on Telegram, you will remember forever that I did this kind of academic dictatorship. So you will not forget. So let's hold it on. A or B? A or B? A or B? A or B? We don't know. We don't know. Let's love to enjoy some suspense. Okay. Next article, the last big article for the day. After that, you have to hear about one very big shock that has come from your President Trump. Let me give you that shock. But before you brace up for that, one last big article, bache. What is this article all about? Article is saying, Abhilash is so upset about it. Article is saying, what is the next phase for rural women entrepreneurship in India? You may have heard about schemes like Lakpati Didi, Drone Didi, Mahila Rozgar Yojana, Bihar. People say on the basis of that, elections are being fought now. Yes, so what is this article saying? But we all understand that in India, women are a vulnerable community. The fact that women are very lowly, I repeat, very lowly represented in the formal sector of the economy. And even those who are in the workplace are majority working as agricultural labor. And then if you talk about why is that happening? That's naturally because of poor education level, because of marriage, cultural biases, because of patriarchy, because of gender, lack of gender budgeting, all those things are there. At the same time, in India, women are also experiencing another problem, that is the problem of low entrepreneurship. See, I'll tell you very honestly, a country that has 1.47 billion people, Ramu told this to us few days back, highest in the world. In that country, you have a lot of young people. We have a major demographic dividend. At the same time, the issue is that with these many people in India, such amount of young people, labor force cannot absorb such excess labor supply. There is always that inflation. Supply of labor is more, the jobs do not exist. So in India, the most fundamental kind of unemployment that is there in both urban and rural, mainly in urban, is structural unemployment. Jobs are not there. People are too many, right? Another problem, jobs are there, but people are not qualified enough to do these jobs. Now, both these are aspects of structural unemployment, and these then manifest in different ways. In urban, they manifest in the form of vulnerable unemployment, rural, seasonal disguised unemployment. But main issue is there is an inflation. There is a structural unemployment. And always remember, structural unemployment is two types. One is people are too many, jobs are not there. Second is jobs are there. People aren't qualified to do those jobs. So what happens then? Is there a solution? Yes. Solution is if you can't get a job in the formal sector, skill yourself. Go for Skill India mission. Take skill. After all, that is what the National Education Policy 2020 says. Focus on vocational training. PM Vishwakarma scheme, the Skill India mission, Startup India mission, all these are saying the same thing. If you can't get job, become a business person. Do entrepreneurship. If you are little bit, you can say, qualified or semi-educated, even if you are not that also, then probably things like self-help group and cooperative societies can work wonderfully for you. But you have to take an initiative, because that is very clear that labor force is not going to absorb you. In that garb, we ask a question: why are so many women unemployed? Apart from culture, religious bias, apart from patriarchy, lack of safety, another reason is that women do not have entrepreneurship skills. If they had, then many of them could have worked despite not being in the labor force, despite not being in the industrial manufacturing service sector, they could have still found income. But that's not happening. This is what this article is saying. Article is saying Deen Dayal Antodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission is a program that has been able to give too many jobs to women. It is a great success, very big success. This program was able to create in India self-help groups under the Ministry of Rural Development, and through these self-help groups, we have today seen a situation where India has around 10 crore households who are a part of 91 lakh self-help groups. Most of these are women. Self-help group are civil society bodies, GS paper 2. They are informal groupings, which mean women pool their money together, and one day if the business becomes successful, they can attract microcredit, micro loans. A very good example. Seva, Ila Bhatt 1972. And who was the man from Bangladesh who pioneered the concept of self-help group and who got the Nobel Prize for that? Who is that man? He's a Bangladeshi social activist who initiated the concept of self-help groups, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize for that. Who is that person? The idea of self-help groups started from Bangladesh. In India, it was propagated by Ila Bhatt, who started Seva, Self-Employed Women Association, back in 1972, one of the largest self-help ecosystem in India. Muhammad Yunus, very good. Very good. Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Excellent. Excellent, Kritik. Yes. Great job, Terukula, Abhilash, Shlok, Kaizen. Brilliant. Yes. It is a very successful model in India today. These self-help groups have been able to provide rural women credit up to 11 lakh crore rupees. The number of Lakpati Didi in India, women who are able to mint rupees in lakhs through self-help groups, is now 2 crore. 2 crore Indian women from the poor households are earning 1 lakh income. That is called Lakpati Didi. But what is the next challenge now? Next challenge is to scale up this model. How can we scale up the model? So the one process to scale up the model happens to be a process called CLF. What is CLF? Cluster level federations. Cluster level federations. If you scale up this model, you will give employment to many more rural women. Yes. And what is that? Cluster-based federations are the backbone of self-help group system. What do you mean by that? It means that in India, a village community works on the basis of trust and mutual relations. If you can encourage these people to come together, make a group through mutual trust, by a written record. Now, if you study self-help group in GS paper 2, you will get all the information from there. Self-help groups run on a model that's known as Panchsheel model. Panchsheel was India, China also. From there, you can remember the Panchamrit model, 5 model. Respect each other, trust each other, write every record, meet time to time. If young women can mobilize together and contribute their finances, then they can create clusters of people. These clusters should be but community owned, not government owned. There are successful clusters like Kutumbashri Kerala, big successful model. Jivika Bihar, very successful model. Now through these clusters, what you can do, you can mobilize your funds together. Now, because there is no need for social auditing or any kind of legal auditing, this is based on mutual trust. But if by pooling your money together, you can scale up the business, the government tomorrow may give you loans under, say, the Mudrika scheme. Government may give you schemes and opportunities under Startup India Fund, Skill India Fund. Now you will start attracting microcredit. Now do remember, in India, it was actually NABARD that had initiated the procedure of giving microcredit to self-help groups. That happened back in 1992. NABARD, National Agriculture Reconstruction Bank. That's the bank which started giving what? Micro loans, small loans to these self-help groups. See, it is very common sense based. If a woman who's poor will go alone to the loan for the bank, to the bank for the loan, will she get the loan? No. Why will she not get the loan? One, she has no collateral security to give. She has no property in her name. She has no asset. She has no jewelry, maybe. She will not get the loan. Second biggest problem, why she will not get. Now, this is one thing you will learn in GS paper 2 and sociology, that the problem is that of poor credit absorption. That's a very good term you should use in your answers. Poor credit absorption. What is that? Banks do not give loan to poor people. Why? Because they feel that poor people will take this loan for business, but they will start using this loan for non-business purpose. A farmer will take a loan, bank will give the loan. Farmer will say, I am taking the loan to buy a land and I will repay once I get profit. But the farmer goes home, and because he is poor, he may experience a health problem. He may want to get his daughter married. He may want to reconstruct his house. He will use the money there. And then will he be able to repay that loan? Never. So loan becomes defaulting. Loan gets defaulted. And that's why this is called poor credit absorption capacity, where you take loan from one thing and you use it for other. This is poor absorption capacity. That's one reason banks will never give loan to these people. Now, here is where cluster and self-help group approach comes. When you ask for a loan as a registered cooperative society, or as a cluster of about 20 people, or a self-help group who has shown on paper that yes, I have earned profit, who has a collateral security to offer, you will get the loan. It's a micro small loan, soft loan, but you will get it. And that's where you can scale up your business model. Okay. So now the time has come to move beyond even loans. Now the time has come to have partnerships with SIDBI, Small Industrial Bank of India, non-banking financial institutions, companies, so that loans can be customized for the need of self-help groups. Coordination between ministries needs to be created to provide more acceptance of self-help group culture. Public awareness, more awareness through panchayat. Niti Aayog can also have a specialized cell which creates special schemes for women in SHG. Ultimately, let's understand, self-help group is not just about empowering women, it is empowering entire rural ecosystem, because one thing is very clear. Suddenly, you cannot expect that poor people will take education, take skill, and become a part of labor force. That's a very unlikely thing to happen, given the high population we have. So the best strategy is to empower them for generating their own income. Yes? Very good. Quickly, the next article. It's a shock. President Trump is ready to reduce the tariff on India after a long struggle that India has had since May 2025. The tariff will now go from 50% to 18%. Why the change? Why the change is happening? He spoke with Indian Prime Minister Shri Modi over phone, and he says that because most of the countries have now agreed that they will reduce taking oil from Russia, they may think of buying oil from Venezuela. President Trump believes now is the time he will reduce the tariff from 50% to 18%. He also says, I was not putting this tariff to punish India. I was putting this tariff only to make India understand how dangerous it was to buy oil from Russia. And India was the second largest oil importer from Russia after China. And that led to a humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. And therefore, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. So that's why reduce your import on Russian oil. And if India says, then what will I do for my security? He will happily say, why are you worried about your security, bro? There is Venezuela. Venezuela is mine. It is American now. Take oil from Venezuela. I will give you at a cheaper rate than what Russia is giving. He also says, with this new development, we are friends again. Friends again. And now we may also think of expediting, quickening the process of the free trade agreement. But the most interesting thing is that India never said on paper that I am ready to reduce my import of Russian oil. India never said that. The bigger question in this article that everybody is asking, who told him that? Who told him that? Who told him that? That we are ready to reduce our import of Russian oil? Who gave that written promise that we will buy Venezuelan oil? It is something that he said, he proposed, he answered, he agreed, and he reduced the tariff. So what should we do? We should celebrate our tariff is coming down. Why should we get in his own controversy, and why should we try to decode his mental cobwebs? I think it's high time we celebrate that finally we will get some tax reduction. Our export potential could increase. And Shlok says, who said his imagination said? His imagination said. So now maybe India, America, trade relations will be less stressful, and probably we can seek more cooperation between these two democracies. Could the real motive be the breakdown of India-Russia relationship? Could the motive be promoting Venezuelan oil to trouble Russia and to improve American income? Could the motive be to end the existence of NATO by getting soft on Mr. Putin, by allowing him to capture Ukraine, by completely finishing the existence of NATO, so that tomorrow if you go to capture Greenland, there is no NATO to stop you. You see, the larger game could also be there. Now, every time I say this, it becomes true in 10 days, so I'm very scared. I don't want to say that, but that's what I feel. Maybe it is also about making Mr. Putin happy. I'm not going to punish any country who's buying from you. Enjoy yourself, buddy. But in return, you can take Ukraine. That's okay. Take Donbass. Let NATO end. If NATO is not there, then who will stop me from taking Greenland? Could that be the hidden agenda? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And Ramu says the result is already there. Stock markets is jumping. Yes, it will jump. It will jump in coming few days. Okay. The last article, quickly in 2 minutes. In Pakistan, Balochistan, major crisis has happened. And what is going on? 177 people died in Balochistan. Balochistan is facing major problem. Why? Why? Let me quickly break down the problem to you. All you need to do is look at the map. Yes, absolutely. All you need to do, bacha, is to look at the map. So last 2 minutes, please look at the map. Please, please, please look at the map, everyone. Just don't look at the map. Look at the yellow colored Balochistan. Can you please see its location on the Gulf of Oman? Can you please try to understand the boundary with Iran? Can you please see where is Afghanistan? Can we all notice the Bandar Abbas port in Iran here? Can we see? Can we see the strategic area here called Strait of Hormuz, from where UAE is trying to jut into Iran? Can we all see Strait of Hormuz, the narrow choke point? Can we all see Gulf of Oman, Arabian Sea? Is everybody able to understand now the broader location of Balochistan? Yes, Shlok. Now, you won't believe me, Shlok. That's exactly what I thought when I was teaching this article, and I knew somebody will say this. I 100% could predict. Can you see the Sindh region? Can you see India on the right side, the flow of the Indus River? That's it. Keep focusing here and now listen to what I'm saying. Balochistan, what's the problem? Balochistan is facing a problem because the local Baloch people feel politically isolated, economically exploited by Pakistan. What are the main reasons behind that? Now, they feel that Balochistan is an integral part of Pakistan, but it has less political say. It has less political power, weak representation in decision making and politics. But it also feels that it is being strongly controlled by Pakistani military. So therefore, many groups in Balochistan are trying to now fight for greater freedom, greater autonomy, and they are fighting with Pakistan. Now, Balochistan is a very strategic area. It is rich in minerals like copper, gold, gas, natural gas, critical minerals, rare earth materials. Local people believe that all these resources are being snatched away from Baloch people and it's going to Pakistan. Yes, profits are benefiting other provinces but not the local people. Despite rich resources, Balochistani people are poor and highly underdeveloped. They are also angry about two more things. One, they are very, very angry about the CPEC. India is also angry with CPEC. Balochi people are also angry. This is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. This is a broader part of Belt and Road Initiative from China that passes illegally through India's Gilgit-Baltistan area, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir area. Balochi are angry because Balochis say that projects like this one and the Gwadar port in Pakistan, both these have created roadways and energy projects, but it has never given jobs to the local people. Land has been taken away from Balochi tribals. Outsiders are benefiting via. This has increased resentment, and you all know what happens. You all know what happens when resentment takes place. When resentment happens, it leads to extremism. Yes, it leads to violence. Human rights allegations are there. These people complain that Pakistani military are responsible for abductions, extrajudicial killings. Security forces of Pakistan are killing our young people, maiming them, putting them in prisons, or radicalizing them. So there are groups like Balochistan Liberation Army that have been conducting attacks on Pakistan's security and infrastructure. Their aim is to gain independence for themselves. They want strategic autonomy today. Balochistan is at a key junction of boundary between Iran and Afghanistan. Borders are porous, borders are transparent, but this is also an area that is very famous for its opium drug. Yes, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. What is this? It is a triangle from where drug business happens, opium. So, with porous borders, what happens? Balochi people have more access to drugs and weapons. Terrorism fuels in this area. There is a free movement of arms and weapons, and that is what is making the situation worse today. Insurgency it at its highest, and that's it for today's Hindu. Yes, that's it. Thank you so much for being a part of this section, making it so interactive and beautiful, like each day. And God bless each one of you, and all the best. And today at 1 p.m. I have the last CSAT class. I hope to see you there. Do remember we are running a massive sale program for 26 aspirants, 27 and 28 aspirants. And for all these price tags, if you use my code SPLIVE, then you will get maximum discount. It is the opium crescent. Very good, AB. Crescent. Very good. Yes, absolutely. It is the crescent. Yes. Why I'm saying triangle? It's a triangular situation. Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, drug business. It's the opium, this thing, the main heartbed of opium trade. In the east also there is one. Vietnam, Laos. We'll see that later. Thank you so much. No problem. We'll bring it back in English as well. Thank you so much for clarifying, Ramu. Okay, then God bless each one of you. I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Keep studying, keep subscribing to Telegram, and do try to enroll for these sale programs. Very good, Eric. That's a beautiful, beautiful observation. Bye bye, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.